Hello everyone, beautiful day here in Brampton, and first video to introduce you to this next project that I just acquired a little while ago. It's a bit windy here, I hope the audio is okay. This is a 2009 Tiguan that I acquired about a month and a half ago, and that will be my next project. So why did I get this car? Well, I was looking for an SUV, and I've been driving Volkswagens now for a number of years, so they're usually good vehicles. This one was listed at $4,500. Actually, it was listed at $46,000 initially. It was even actually listed at $5,000 initially, and then went down in price. It was sold as is, right? So we'll go around the vehicle and you'll get a sense of what the car looks like. But there were a couple of things so I went to see it. It was about 45 minutes away from where I lived, and I wanted to take a look at it and see how good of a vehicle that was. Certainly it has some issues, and that's what it's a project really is, because there's a number of things that will need to be done. However, due to the problems that I found out, I offered the seller more of a lowball price, right? So offered him $3,500, thinking that he would not take on the offer, and that ultimately I will have to look for another vehicle. What happened is that the seller was in a rush, didn't have any space to park his car, was getting a new car delivered, and was really eager to get rid of it. So the same night of the day that I went to see the vehicle, he called me back and said, "Hey, can you do $3,800?" And I'm like, "Look, due to the problems that I've found on the vehicle, and we'll cover this in more details, I can only offer $35,000, but I'll push to $36,000. I'll give you an extra $100." And he actually accepted. So I really wasn't expecting that to happen, quite frankly, but I ended up getting a 2009 Tiguan for $3,600, which is actually, on the grand scheme of things, is not bad at all. The car drives fine, like it drives okay. Now there's a bunch of things that we'll go over to show you that it certainly needs some work, because it hasn't received as much love as it should have. Previous owner only kept it for like a couple months. He was waiting on a new vehicle that got delayed and needed a car. He got that one from whoever, and he was just selling it for a very low price. But the car certainly will need some work. We'll look at what the car actually looks like, so externally and internally, and we'll see what needs to be done, and then I will document this process on YouTube on my channel, so that you can see the different repairs that will have to happen in order to bring this car to its shape, like it's in good working order. So let's take a look at the outside, we'll take a look at the inside, we'll take a look at some of the issues that the car has, and then we'll get started in the next few weeks. I'm gonna get started on this vehicle, so stay put. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to get updated on this project, and let's see how it goes. All right, so let's take a look at the outside of the vehicle first. Certainly the car needs a wash, right? And I haven't washed it, sitting under the trees on my driveway, so I will need to get it washed, because this can actually stain the paint after a while. So really want to not let that actually eat through the paint or the clear coat. But the car overall is in good condition. Now it came with winter tires. I did actually get some all-season rims and tires since. There's another video that I made on the Allen's Polishers rim cleaner that you can check on that channel, and you'll see what the rims look like, but they're 5-spoke Volkswagens. The biggest problem on the outside really is corrosion. So we find corrosion actually in some of the common places on Tiguans. So around the door handles, we see these issues on Golfs as well, not uncommon. So the good thing is that these can be removed. So there's a little grommet here that can be taken out, and that allows you to take the handle out. I haven't really looked into it just yet, but it's something that doesn't really concern me too much. I also bought a rust remover product, so that should also help with this repair. It's bubbling out, right? So I will need to get rid of the rust, but the metal is still pretty strong, so that's a good thing. We find also rust around the fender, so common issue. You see it's bubbling out, right, which means that the rust could be coming from the inside and going towards the outside of the body, so we'll see how serious of a problem that is. See rust again here, right? So the good thing is that it came with a hitch, so I was happy with that. It is a 4-motion, so 2-liter TSI engine. So it's a good motor. Well, we'll get into the motor aspects in a moment. More rust here, more rust around the handle. No rust here for some reasons, so that's a good thing. And we'll have more rust on the fender here with a small bend, but we can't really tell, but it looks like it hit something. So the car overall looks good. The windshield is fine, there's no cracks, which is good. One additional aspect is that this has got the panoramic roof, which is a nice add-on, and we'll look into the some aspects related to this on the inside of the car. And additionally, the antenna snapped, so I'm gonna have to find a way to fix that. The stem is still in there, so I will need to take it out before I can actually replace the antenna. We have a missing cap here on the wiper, nothing really serious. And overall, yeah, it needs a little bit of a cleaning, and but it's in good condition overall. Now let's look at the inside. So this is the inside of the vehicle, starting with the driver's side. You'll see the car actually has quite a bit of mileage. Right? So we're looking at, not sure whether you can see this here, but we're looking at right now 178,187 kilometers. This is the generation where the display is still red, right? After that, I think it was the following year, it changed to this black and white display, which incidentally is what I had on my GTI. I had a Golf GTI 2012 at some point, which was upgraded to this. But otherwise, it's a pretty standard interior. It looks very clean, actually. The controls are not damaged. Looks like the inside was really well taken care of overall. Even this on the power window controls, everything is very, very clean. So on the door sill here, we find more corrosion, so that's something that can be easily fixed. And but otherwise, the seats are clean, you know, on both sides, whether it's the passenger over there or the driver. So sorry if the quality is not great, there's a lot of sun here, but no stains. There is also a lumbar support on that seat, which is really good because that's going to help with long drives. On the back, well, the seat is reclined right now, but you get the folding bench. The trunk is very clean too. I even got a free oil filter here that he dropped in there. Everything is in order on that side, so the car looks overall in good condition. We have our temporary spare tire under there, along with 2 storage compartments and more storage on the side, with the jack on that side and more storage on this side, and access to some ground wires as well. The rear piece here that kind of closes up the trunk space is missing, so I'm gonna have to find that out, find it online probably as a spare part. No major problems on the underneath of the trunk. We do get a little bit of rust here again, so that's something that I'm gonna have to look into. Looks like the little lights, the plate lights might actually need to be replaced. But overall, the one thing that I picked up is there's water that drips from here, and there was water that was dripping from here too last time. So I need to find out why I have accumulation of water here, because it should normally drain. So it could be because the little grommet here is plugged, or there is something there that I need to look into. On that side, no problem either. Very clean overall. I don't think the rear seats have been used that much at the end. And on this side, nothing really bad. So the car overall is in good condition. You'll notice there is a wire here, and I'll get back to this because this is actually a bit strange. But I think yeah, I think I know why this piece of wire is here. Now, the one thing that will need some love is the shade up here, which, as you can see, is sagging pretty badly, and this is a common issue on Tiguan's. The problem has to do with the way the shade actually is designed partially. It can be fixed. It's not necessarily an easy fix, but it can be fixed. So I will be looking into this. That's going to be one of the things that I will need to get done. Controls are clean. Everything looks good here. So really quite happy actually with the way the interior looks. You know, we'll be spending more time now looking at some of the aspects that we need to start working on. So let's look at the system now. So the electronics and what the car really needs, and that's a bit of a different story. Now let's look at the system here and what the car is actually telling me when I turn it on, because there are a few things here. So I'm gonna start the car. Car starts fine, no problem at all. Although you will notice two things. Airbag fault is number one, which could be problematic, obviously, and the check engine light is also on. So these are. I didn't have the scanner actually that was really silly of me actually, but I do have a scanner here. We'll plug it in, we'll see what gives. But at the time I went to see the vehicle, I actually did not have the scanner, so I couldn't scan the codes. The previous owner told me that there were issues with the with apparently the rudder control, not the rudder, sorry, the throttle control module on the air intake. So that's on the intake manifold, and that's what he said, right? So now he probably didn't know about the codes himself. He brought it to a mechanic. The mechanic told him that there were codes, and that's apparently what the problem was. There were other codes as well that I discovered after the fact, and that was a bit of a bad surprise. But let's plug in our scanner and see what we get. All right, so we'll take the car for a spin. I've resetted all the codes at that point, so I would anticipate that the car is working perhaps a little bit better. Well, the check engine light is already back on, so that didn't take long. The airbag light is also on, and I will be looking into the new codes that were picked up once we actually drive a little bit. So. Let's take a look. Overall, the car drives fine. Now, there are a couple of things that I picked up in the way it behaves. There's actually a bit of a clunking sound that's coming from the front left, apparently. It could be just one of the stabilizer links. That's one of the ball joints that's worn out. I will need to actually take the wheel off and actually find out what's happening. But overall, it actually drives nice. And I still think that the engine is not working at its full potential right now, simply because there were some error codes that we picked up earlier that had to do with the throttle control module and a bunch of other things, including misfire. So I'm not sure whether it's triggering additional, like a safety mode for the engine, just like we see on the TDIs with the link mode when you get overboost issues, for instance, with due to the turbo actuator malfunctioning. So we'll see, but overall it is a 2-liter turbo engine, right? So it's a TSI. Whoops. And so it's got some power, right? But what I still think is that at the moment, like I said, it's not working the way it should. So I'll do more troubleshooting, and I'm gonna rescan the codes in a moment and see what's happening. There's also this whirring sound that you might actually have seen before. This is typically due to the ball bearings on the front. In this case, again, the car has nearly 180,000 kilometers, so that's
not really surprising that the front bearings would need to be replaced. These are hubs actually on this car, so they're not press in, so they're fairly easy to remove. Although I'll probably get this done by my mechanic because there's it's just easier, and it's a time issue on my end. But it's actually not too complex to do. The reason why I wanted to take it to my mechanic too is because I was looking at replacing the strut bearings as well, which there's a noise actually that you can hear when you're steering and when you're turning the wheels. It's nothing major. I don't think it's anything really that is requires an emergency repair or anything like this. It's probably just worn out. But I was thinking I might actually get everything done at the same time, since the front bearings actually require to take the wheel off and the axle, not the axle, but the actual transmission arm. So I thought I might actually give it to my mechanic, but I'm not sure just yet. The front bearings will probably have to be replaced. The good thing is that the parts actually on that kind of vehicle are not that expensive. So yeah, if I put my foot down, it actually goes nicely. Car drives again pretty nice overall. So you can find the parts really easily. The brakes were done not so long ago, apparently. I actually even pointed that out to the seller and told him, hey, you know what, if you have some other interested buyers, in case you want to negotiate, just let them know that the brakes are fairly recent. So the brakes don't need to be replaced, and the car actually brakes nice. But outside of that, I mean, the car is pleasant to drive. Everything is working as it should. It's got the cruise control. It also has apparently the Bluetooth phone support, but I haven't found the way to pair my phone with that with the onboard system yet. There is a process to do that. I remember it was painful to do on the GTI that I owned at some point, so it's probably going to be quite similar, but nothing that I cannot really do at a later time, worst case scenario. I will look into the sunshade at some point. I haven't really touched it, to be honest, because it looks like this can go even worse and break off. So I've been leaving it alone for now. But the car otherwise is in good working order, and I really don't have a lot of concerns. And it drives, right? So not to mention the fact that it's a 4Motion, so it's a full-wheel drive. So I'm actually looking forward to driving it during the winter and the snowstorms that we get up here in Canada. So this is it. We will look at the outside of the vehicle and the engine compartment in a moment. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it, and I hope that I won't run into anything major or anything that would actually make me regret that purchase. Like the video, stay put, and I'll be posting more soon. Thank you. Quick view of the engine compartment. Nothing really that I could pick up that was concerning. Looks pretty dry overall, like there is no obvious signs of leakage or anything. So that's a good thing. We will spend more time on the engine in the coming few weeks. When I have the time, we will need to look into the misfire and the decarbonizing of the intake manifold. This is that piece here. So it's pretty well documented online. I will probably follow an existing walkthrough that has been done by somebody else, but I will also be able to share my own experience with how this process actually goes and how complicated it is. But other than that, no, it's a little dusty. It probably could need a bit of a cleaning. I did pick up a couple of things. So there's a blue wire that seems to be an aftermarket that actually goes out. There's actually some sort of a rust ignition or rust prevention system that sits right in there. Can't really see it, but there's a little box here that clearly did not do much, because it's actually it hasn't really prevented anything from happening. So this cover belongs here. Doesn't look like it's locking anymore, really. So
yeah, clearly it needs a little bit of love, but nothing really here that concerned me at first glance. So we'll look into this in one of the next videos. As you can tell, this car needs some attention. So from the outside with corrosion that needs to be looked at, and a number of error codes that I will cover in a separate video. It's to be expected for a car at that price. At the same time, the car drives fine and doesn't have any major issue when you actually drive it around. No problem with safety or anything like this. So it's essentially more cosmetic and aspects related to the error codes that we're getting from the computer. I will spend more time explaining the different repairs that I will be going through. The ABS light being on will require some troubleshooting. That could be a little tricky. I definitely used that to my advantage when I negotiated the price of the car, because you never know what to expect, and that's exactly what I told him. That it could be serious, or it could be a simple contact or connector that's faulty. And there is actually a controller that's under the passenger seat that could also be defective. I will be going through some troubleshooting steps to try to determine what the problem is with this. So make sure you stay put on this project, and I'll try to share as much as I can. So this was the first look at my 2009 Tiguan. We will start working on this shortly. We'll probably start with the decarb of the intake manifold. I will document all of this, so please subscribe, like the video. It's really helping me and encouraging me to keep going with this project. I hope it's going to be helpful to others who perhaps are looking at buying slightly older vehicles that are in good condition and that you want to put back in a good working order. I still think that for $3,600 you get a lot of a car for that price. Nothing really major. The car drives fine, as you can tell, and it still takes me from point A to point B, and I really think that I can bring it back to where it should be. Treat all the corrosion, change whatever parts needs to be changed, and ensure that the engine is working correctly. These cars still run, and you can find them actually on the road with 250,000 kilometers over. It is a chain timing. It's a timing chain actually on that engine, so it's pretty robust. They're good engines, they're good cars, and it is also full motion, which I'm looking for the winter. So stay put, subscribe, like the video, and I will post soon when I start making progress on the different repairs. Thank you for watching.